Hey everyone, want to talk today about an important tool for your everyday carry. Now, when we hear everyday carry, obviously we immediately think of our handgun, our spare mag for the handgun, our knife, our medical tools, the generic just wallet, cell phone, keys, maybe then thinking about our non-lethals, maybe pepper spray if you have it, or stun gun or something like that. But this tool is really something that we're looking at before any violence might arise or anything like that, to help with our general situational awareness, as well as also show our alertness to anyone that might be lurking around to cause us ill will. And that's our handheld flashlight. Now, we want to be very emphatic about it being handheld. Now, having the handgun and a light with it on it is great, and there's nothing wrong with that, but we want to make sure that we're not necessarily drawing our handgun out prematurely, and if it's just to use a flashlight, not even to use the handgun because the situation hasn't rise to use it, that's not really a good thing. So we want to make sure we have a separate handheld flashlight from the weapon mounted light. So the one we have that we've gone through different flashlights and found this one is Streamlight's ProTac 2LX. It's a really awesome flashlight that isn't breaking the bank. It's not too big or too small. It's just the right size, and the lumens and the candela are really good for you. Now you're starting at 500 lumens and about 6,800 candela. And with lumens especially, that's really where you want to look at right about. You really don't want to go less than that, as you're losing really just the throw and the just general just push of it all. So when we're thinking about these flashlights now, a lot of people think, well, maybe I want something that's a little bit smaller because it's more convenient, or definitely not going to break the bank for me, or just maybe one that's comparable in size, but it's just a generic one, maybe not a name brand one, or maybe a more well-known name brand or whatever, and they go towards that one. But we're going to show you some of those different types that we just mentioned and show how potentially those aren't the ones you want to get, even if they are maybe convenient or won't break the bank just at like the Streamlights. So first we're going to look at just small lights, kind of like pen light size or around that. Really, we've got one just kind of generic little one and one that's name brand, quite well known, that we're going to look at. Both of these are pretty small in size, and they're not super pricey, but obviously we're going to see that the brightness on it, things like that, what we're really wanting out of the flashlight might not be why we would want to get this. So let's take a look. First off, we have our just generic one. We see here on the backdrop, and then kind of towards the ceiling, kind of umbrella, not really doing anything, even with the low light we have on right now. Next is the name brand one that we have, a little light here on the back, a little bit bigger as you see, and maybe a touch more umbrellaing the ceiling, but still not too much. Now, the pen lights, like we've said, they can be really nice just because a lot of times we don't want to put more in our pockets because we already have so many things like those different everyday carry things we talked about. Just alone, maybe the wallet, keys, and cell phone, let alone adding more tools. So those ones in size might be very convenient, we might like a lot, but as we see, even though they're not even going to break the bank, they might break something else because they're so small. Next, we're going to look at what we have comparable in size to the Streamlight ProTac 2LX. As we can see, I have two just generic ones, comparable in size and price, and then one name brand one here, and then we have Streamlight right here. So first off, we're going to look at the two generic ones, then we'll look at the name brand one. Let's take a look. So first off, we got just one of the generic ones here. As we see, immediately getting a little bit more there on the backdrop and more towards the ceiling with that umbrella. Already seeing the difference because of size, how you're going to help with that brightness, things like that. The next one here, same thing there with the backdrop and the ceiling, helping that a little bit, maybe slightly less than that first one. And this is the name brand one, very comparable in size and right about the same price as the Streamlight one here. So see, definitely a little bit better on the backdrop, and definitely better on the ceiling, obviously, because it's a name brand one as well. Then we're going to see what we obviously have here, the Streamlight backdrop. You can see it's a little better there, and then I think it really shines there, no pun intended, better here on the ceiling with that umbrella. So really seeing Streamlight, the reason we chose it, whether it's a small light or comparable in size to these, and with price, that it does a lot better, and it's not breaking the bank for right around $50 that we found it, whether that's, you know, on Amazon or other stores, or I think we found these on TRX Arms website. And then just for a little bit more, adding the therm switchback, it just helps compared to a simple clip that was on here or any of the other flashlights. You can still have a good clip here to put in your pocket or something like that, but also it has a ring, so if you're drawing it out, you're keeping it here in the index finger or something like that. If you need to use some type of tool, handgun or whatever else, you can be mobile, you can just spin it here on the ring and then be able to, you know, hold or do whatever you need to. So definitely we recommend Streamlight ProTac 2LX, and maybe even adding on the therm switchback here, so that you guys can have a really important and awesome tool for your everyday carry.